Hey everyone, my name is WyrmsEye and I welcome you back to the Battle Spot Factory, our VGC Battle Spot series. And welcome to VGC 2018 everyone. We're going to be kicking off our VGC 2018 content with this team that you see on the screen now. Affectionately known as Gardevoir and ZappyCat, a variant or a build of the team made by a very good UK player known as Conan Wild. Also goes online as the Razor 456, so I will be linking his Twitter down below. But I can't think of a better team to really start off this series, because as a team it's got a good pedigree already in Japanese grassroots tournaments. It's been used by a multitude of other players on the Battle Spot ladders for Battle Spot doubles. At the end of 2017, I know that Aaron Zeng has used it, multiple other people have used it as well, and I think it's a very good team to sort of get a grounding going forward. The build of this team is very much a tail room orientated, so the Zapdos has Trick Room, the Zapdos has Tailwind, the Gardevoir has Trick Room, I should say. But it does also have a lot of other little tricks and text to it. The Incineroar is probably the biggest misnomer on this team. It's an Assault Vest variant with Fake Out, Flare Blitz, Snarl and Darkest Lariat. But we also have the Aegislash, probably what's going to be one of the most common steel types that we're going to see in the metagame throughout 2018. Thanks to its good defensive typing, its ability to King Shield giving it a good defensive form, as well as its good offensive on the Blade Form, especially in the special offense with Flash Cannon and Shadow Ball. And it also gets access to Y-Guard, which, for those of you who don't know, at the moment there is, some are arguing it's a glitch, some are arguing that it may not be, that Y-Guard when used against Z-offense Z moves actually lowers the damage from a Z move to a protect level. So that is something that we may come across at some point during the battles that we play on this week. I'm hoping to do about 4 episodes using this team this week, and then a 5th episode of a new series which I'm hoping to get started probably on the Friday. Not necessarily VGC related, but something very similar that I think will be quite interesting to some of you guys, and hopefully we can get some participation from you as well into getting various Pokemon included into that series. Without further ado though, let's jump on. So I haven't actually played with this team at all, I've only ever watched people play with it, so it will be something of a really unusual feeling. But we found our first opponent. It's an Italian player with a rating of 14-13, and we see a team of Thunderous Sphere form, Tapu Lele, Holucha, Swampert, Ferrothorn and Politoed. So for those of you that know, Swampert is a Mega Pokemon, and we do have Megas back this year, so that is something to be wary of. The Thunderous Sphere probably carries the likes of a Focus Blast, it may be Choice Scarf, I would assume it's Phytinium Z, and we've also got to be very wary of the Holucha, because it also has the Unburden ability. It's going to probably proc a Psychic Seed. So Rain plus Tailwind is a very difficult option to deal with, and they've locked in, so an interesting one to start off with, and not an easy one to really get my teeth into. I think though I can go Tapu Fini and Gardevoir, and I'm going to try and play a Trick Room setup. If Ferrothorn comes in we could have a bit of a problem, but I think Aegislash and Incineroar make the most sense in the back. We are going to be going very heavy Trick Room because a lot of this team has good speed options going faster, so we want to take it to a very slow level. So we should expect the Ferrothorn. And this is my first time actually using the new timer, so 5 minutes isn't a long time for my time, so I'm going to have to be playing a lot quicker and a lot more controlled here. As we do see that they just lead off with the Politoed and the Swampert. So we do get up the Misty Surge. We also trace Damp on the Politoed, so it's... we trace Damp on the Swampert actually then. Okay, so say hidden ability Swampert, but that's not going to matter when it switches into becoming a Mega Swampert. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Calm Mind here. I know this Gardevoir is particularly bulky, but I don't know how bulky it's going to be. But I am going to go for the Trick Room right here, because if I can get it off now, we'll be in a good situation going forward into the following turns. So we do Mega Evolve. We are actually showing as faster as the Mega Swampert, but when it Mega Evolves, it will get the speed boost from the Swiss Swim thanks to the new Mega mechanics, where it actually gets its ability off straight away. So expect that Swampert to go first. We do see a waterfall come out from it. Significant damage. Calm Mind, so we will get some setup out of this turn, but I think we may be losing our Gardevoir for turn 1, which isn't ideal. Yeah. So, drastically overestimating the bulk there on Gardevoir. Probably should have protected, but unfortunately, not really a lot we can do about that. And this is where it's going to get very difficult very quickly. So, I have spoken to Conan and I have talked to a couple of other people about what they feel is good and bad about this team, and Rain seems to be a matchup that comes up quite repeatedly as being a difficult one to deal with. I am actually just going to never end the Nightmare the Swampert here. I think it's the correct move. And Muddy Watering, it is neutral on the Swampert, as we do see it protect. So Tapu Fini's Muddy Water comes out. We are going to hit into the protect, but if we can get an accuracy drop off onto the Politoed, that would be a bonus. Respectable damage. We do get the accuracy drop, and we see Icy Wind. So not very effective on either of our Pokemon, but that's not a serious problem, all things considered. Most of our team is generally so. It's mostly we've got to get rid of the Swampert as quickly as possible. And this is still going to do a fair chunk of damage even through the protect. We shall see. Aegislash, one of the premier attackers of this format, I feel. And as you can see, a fair whack of damage, even though it's hitting through a protect. So we will just Muddy Water again, and we're going to King Shield with the Aegislash. We don't want to be taking any unnecessary damage onto our Aegislash if we can help it. But maybe we could have wide guarded there, because I have a feeling an Earthquake could be coming out. Helping Hand does suggest potentially an Earthquake. Now we just see a waterfall into the Tapu Fini. Sizable damage, just under half, I think. As you can see, still doing quite a significant amount of damage to the Politoed and the Swampert there. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to protect with... no. I feel like I can just about survive another waterfall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to muddy water again. And this time I'm going to Shadow Ball into the Politoed. So we do see another helping hand. Swampert actually using Earthquake this time, so in actual fact slightly weaker than me. Please tell me that. Oh no. Waterfall is boosted by... I feel like that shouldn't have actually killed us, but maybe I'm misthinking that. Helping hand... But it's spread damage, so that's 75. Oh yeah, because it's resisted. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense then. Fair enough. Fair enough. So we have lost this battle. We are just going to play it out. It's a bit unfortunate. Rain is not a very good matchup for this team, and you have to play pretty well to really stand the best chance against it. Yeah, and Rain is pretty much the big misnomer of this setup, and I could have wide guarded there, but it would have made less sense in my opinion to Earthquake there than it was to Waterfall, but it is what it is. So we are going to take a loss there. Unfortunate, but nothing we can really do about it. We didn't play particularly well. Rain is not a very good matchup for this team. Let's have league title defense. As we find a opponent from Spain with 1478. With a Sandcore team of Aegislash, Tapu Lele, Excadrill, Thunderous Fairy form, Tyranitar and Salamence. So, two potential Megas on the table. Salamence most likely carrying the Mega Stone. Tyranitar probably not, but could be a Mega, potentially to deal with some weather teams. And the Sand is obviously going to be a potential issue. And again, that Thunderous Fairy just slightly off-putting, especially with the likes of Landorus, because if it has Hidden Power Ice, that could be a significant problem for us. So what I am going to do is... I think if we lead Landorus and Incineroar, that's a good lead. How do we want to go about this? Aegislash is good in the back, deals with Tyranitar, deals with Excadrill pretty well. Do we want Gardevoir or do we want Zapdos? Gardevoir I think goes well here. So yeah, Sand is obviously going to be a core that's going to be used fairly frequently in the early stages. Gives Excadrill a very nice speed boost with its Sand Rush ability. So that's something that we're going to have to be mindful of. It's part of the reason why I've led in Landorus to get the Intimidate off, and we do see that they lead with their Sand duo of Tyranitar and Excadrill, so we will get that very nice Intimidate off. Sandstring goes up, not too much of an issue, and my opening move is to go for Earthquake with the Landorus, and oh, do we want to though? We didn't bring Zapdos in the back. Did not bring Zapdos in the back. Let's U-turn into Tyranitar and fake out the Excadrill here. I think that the Excadrill most likely has either the Focus Sash or a Z move, so that's the one that I really want to protect against. And we do just see a double protect from my opponent there. So Incineroar is going to take a fake out into the protect. Landorus U-turn also protecting. Incineroar takes a bit of buffeting from the Sandstorm. So we are just going to U-turn out, and what I am going to do is I am going to go full pelt into that extra drill with a Flare Blitz. We probably will not survive the turn, as we see the extra drill obviously using Rock Slide. Significant damage on the Landorus. Hopefully we don't flinch. We don't. We get the U-turn off, and we also see that the extra drill is Life Orbed. Good information to know. That means we can come into our Aegislash here. And the Tyranitar uses Ice Punch, so showing that it did have a move before our Landorus Furion form, as the Incineroar actually flinches there, so unfortunate a little, but we're still in a decent position here. Let's go for the Flash Cannon onto Tyranitar and Flare Blitz the Excadrill. So the Excadrill still going for Rock Slide. We'll be taking Life Orb damage, so we are slowly chipping it down, if not by our own hands. And the Tyranitar just uses a Crunch into the Aegislash slot. Decent damage, but not a heck of a lot. And obviously this is a fast Aegislash, so we are going to be getting off a Flash Cannon into the Tyranitar, knocking it out, and we will also hopefully be getting our Flare Blitz into the Excadrill here. But we flinch as well, so not an ideal set of circumstances. The Incineroar really hasn't done anything for us this game. But we shall see what our opponent brings in, and it is the Thunderous. So, if we King Shield here, and we also bring in the Landorus on the Incineroar slot. My gut reaction is it's going to be a Rock Slide plus Thunderbolt from the Thunderous. Let's just have a see. We do get the King Shield off. So Excadrill will be the fastest thing on the field, should Rock Slide. Chooses to Earthquake instead. Very useful piece of information there. And the Thunderous does go for a Thunderbolt into our protecting Aegislash there, so potentially useful pieces of information. Ones that we should be able to use fairly well. So I'm going to switch Aegislash into Incineroar here. And I'm just going to go for the Rock Slide. We haven't seen what item the Thunderous is. I'm hoping it's not something like a. I'm hoping it's something like a Choice Specs or a Choice Scarf variant. It's very difficult to tell at this stage. But it is actually a mixed set, so Hidden Power coming out does get the knockout though. Oh, this is really poor stuff from me. I can't really assume any sets at this point because I haven't really played Battle Spot doubles all too much, so and we get Sand Rush as well. I'm going to King Shield here. I don't want to take a Thunderbolt if I can help it, and I am going to Mega and Trick Room. My instinct is I should be able to take a Iron Head. I know that Conan builds his Gardevoirs fairly bulky, so we'll have a look and see whether or not this Gambit plays off. Their best play is to probably double target into the Gardevoir. Also has Sludge Bomb! What is this set? Gardevoir hangs on though. Okay. 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 So we can Never-Ending Nightmare into Thunderous. Does Psychic... It's not very effective on the Excadrill. Okay. Hyper Voice? It's effective on the Thunderous. Okay, so... Right way around to do this is to... Never-Ending Nightmare the Excadrill. And I think Hyper Voice into the Thunderous. We really need this to pick up the knockout though, and I'm not 100% sure whether Hyper Voice has the damage output to do that. But we shall see. Thunderous itself isn't exactly the bulkiest thing on the block, so tank that pretty well. And that's really unfortunate because I think that may be the game there. Unless we can get a Pokemon that's on their side of the field that doesn't particularly like seeing Hyper Voice. Which we have got in the Salamence. How many turns of Trick Room do we have left? We have 3 turns. If Salamence can take this Hyper Voice, it will be all over. I am hoping, though, maybe, possibly, we can clutch this out. Gardevoir does use Hyper Voice. Is it going to pick up the knockout on the Thunderous? Double knockout! So, the clutch survival by Gardevoir with the Sludge Bomb and Earthquake double target into it. He managed to turn that game around from what looked like a very lost position into a winning one. Obviously, getting up the Trick Room did prove extremely influential at the end stage. It allowed us to use Hyper Voice pretty freely. And arguably, I think my opponent chose the wrong Pokemon to target into with the Thunderous Variant form. Going for the Aegislash didn't make a heck of a lot of sense with respect to the fact that Gardevoir did have a favourable matchup against his Salamence in the back, as we saw. So I think our opponent misplayed more than we actually won it there, but at the end of the day, you have to learn to see the outs there, and I think they may have missed a trick. However, it's good to get a win on the board, so 1 win and 1 loss for today's episode, and I thank you guys for watching. We will be back tomorrow with another episode with this team of the Battle Spot Factory. Like, comment and subscribe for more content on these videos. Comment about anything that you saw in today's video. Berate me for my mistakes as well. I'm definitely still trying to learn this format. And again, I will see you next time on the Battle Spot Factory, but until then, bye bye for now.